You are now listening to the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr. Welcoming you, taking a lap of the extra mile for today, May 11th, 2023. And we've got a great race from Kansas to get into, a not-so-great race from Miami to get into. We're going to Darlington and Indy this week. And to help me talk about all that and everything in between, my guest co-host for the evening, Mr. Larry B. Larry, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me tonight, Mr. Darrell. This was, about 2 hours in the making, I believe, when you said we may not have the show tonight, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm here. So, yeah, Darrell, I am really excited, man. Interesting week of racing. I don't know if I could say any other word than that, because like you said, there were ups and severe downs. Regardless, I'm here for it all, and it's going to be a really fun show.
Yeah, and just to get everybody caught up on what's going on, Christopher Lehman, obviously, the job that pays him has taken precedent tonight. He said he might make it tonight. We will see. Michael Ward is going to join us at about 8:30 to take us through the second half of the show. So Larry's going to be with me for the whole thing, starting here with the first half, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're listening live, make sure to get your comments in the chat. We will read them out as we go. So without further ado, let's get started. And of course, we will always get started with the races from this weekend, or from last weekend, NASCAR in Kansas, and the F1 Miami Grand Prix. A lot more to talk about that race off the track than on it. Max Verstappen ends up taking the win after what was a pretty dull affair by all accounts. There was no real tire strategy because, unfortunately, the Pirelli tires just last too long, so there's only one real strategy that works, and when you only have one strategy that works, the fastest car tends to win. Max Verstappen's in the fastest car. He won again. But a lot of the conversation that we were having before the show had something to do with how the race got started. And that was with, if you watched live, those over-dramatic, is what I will call it, driver intros, which are kind of in the same vein as what they do in NASCAR and IndyCar. Just pumped up to 11. There was Will.i.am performing with a live orchestra. LL Cool J was reading some of the cringiest dialogue lines about the drivers. And as Larry was talking about at the beginning, a lot of drivers didn't like it. And I can kind of understand why, because Formula One's already full of pomp and circumstance as it is. And as we get on to today, it really just felt over the top.
Without a doubt, Daryl. I just don't get it. And that's crazy because tomorrow's show, this is a really good lead-in. Tomorrow, of course, my show with my wife, Cecilia, of course, the Sports Club Perspectives. Tomorrow evening, make sure to catch us here at IE Sports Radio. That's going to be our whole topic. Of course, Daryl, we're going to talk about that beautiful, wonderful train wreck of a draft we just had. That's going to be fun because, Daryl, we all need a cover band, a prom cover band to play during each pick, But yeah. But that's a different story for another day, which is tomorrow. But we're also going to talk about this, which took place, Daryl. I just, I'm gonna get fully on admit it, so nobody sits here and goes, "Oh, shut up, Larry. You're just being, you're getting old." Or no, I'm not. But I'll tell you what. In the moment I was into it, I thought it was pretty cool for a few minutes. And then I realized, Daryl, we have a whole bunch of drivers to get to, and they're not taking their time. And, LL, I'm a big fan. Will.i.am's out there doing his thing. And then it gets kind of like, okay, are we going to – okay, so we got – okay, it's been 10 minutes already. All right, 15. You know what I mean, Daryl? Like, and these drivers are kind of waiting around, and it's like, okay. And then before you know it, it just kind of seems like it just kind of took over the event in a way. And a lot of drivers, I was reading an article earlier this week, and Daryl, it seems like there's a mixed bag of feelings, but it seems that the vast majority of these drivers weren't too pleased with how extravagant or extra, people would say, these intros were.
It was just too much, in my opinion. And we're used to driver intros, here in the United States. They do it in every motorsport. At least the big series do before the start of the race. They'll get everybody together on the stage. They'll announce who's starting, but it's more of a put together part of the race. They'll have like stats if they've won there before. LL was just like making up stuff off the top of his head or like stuff that was written down, and all of it just came off as cringe to steal a term from Gen Z. Like, it just didn't feel organic because they don't usually do this at other Formula One races. They only really do them at the U.S. Now, it wasn't as bad as the U.S. GP intros from a couple of years ago, where they had Bruce Buffer doing it and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and it was just absolutely too much. But this kind of fit in the doing too much category, and that's been one of the main complaints of since Liberty Media took over in owning Formula One, is that they're doing too much in trying to promote the sport. You don't really need that much to promote Formula One. It's the pinnacle, the pinnacle of motorsports, not the pinnacle of motorsport action, because I've never seen a 60 overtake race look that dull, to be honest. I don't know how you felt about the race, but they said 60 overtakes. I'm going to have to go back and see it, because I don't see what they're counting.
Even with you saying that right now, Daryl, it kind of just once again, there's no disrespect to the great Daryl Kinsey. I'm just saying here, the great Daryl Kinsey Jr. But even at the moment you saying 60, I was like, wait a minute, Daryl, you sure about that? I mean, honestly, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I could not for the life of me get like really, really into that race just because it just seemed like it honestly, man, I hate to say it, but it was kind of boring. I don't really. We wanted these races on the street for so long, and then we get this, and it's like that was kind of dull. So, and then of course, piggybacking really fast, going quickly backwards. I remember that Michael Buffer intros. I remember the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. I remember that, and now we have the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders and all. So it's kind of funny. I mean, that does go right back into that. But anyway, so fast forwarding, Daryl, it was very, just kind of. Very dull racing, and overall, I just kind of felt like it was kind of just I don't know, it turned out to just be kind of like what should have been, I don't know, some kind of like testing or something. I mean, I don't know, Daryl, that was not a fun race to watch.
No. And Michael just sent me something, if you're a fan of street races. Apparently, there might be a Madrid Grand Prix coming. I just don't understand. That's the other thing with Liberty Media. I just don't understand the obsession with street courses. They don't put on good races, ever. Like, rarely do we have a good street race. Doubly so in Formula One. And we're just making the schedule races in narrow streets where it's tough to pass. And you're wondering why we're having issues with people actually liking the race.
And I will add to this really quick, Daryl. Remember, we always, Daryl, my goodness, this show's been on for 7 seasons now, I want to say. I mean, Daryl, I think we can go back to season 1, and we've continued to speak about Monaco and being won on Saturday or on Sunday. So, Daryl, I'm just saying, these street courses, it just rings the Monaco bell, because it's like, if you don't qualify the fastest, you're probably going to lose. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there, Daryl. Throwing that out there.
Yeah. You probably saw that sigh, but for those that have been listening week to week, you guys know I don't like Monaco. I could really do with it without it being on the schedule. I really don't care about the history anymore, because what history is there over the last 40 years other than the guy that qualified first usually wins unless something stupid happens?
Yeah, it's a dull race, Daryl. And I hate it because I want more on that day. It's a wonderful day. The Indy 500 is just this beautiful thing that we wait for once a year. I mean, that is like, it's a Super Bowl type deal. I love the Indy 500. I wait for that race. So many wonderful things happen in that race. Even as some people may say it gets, and I get it, some people it gets a little boring. Okay, I get it. The Coca-Cola 600 may drag a little bit because it's a very long race, but I don't care. I live for those 3 races that day. I absolutely love it. I even advocated one day, Daryl, you make like a U.S. Nats type of deal during that whole time off with the NHRA. Make it the ultimate race day. But honestly, Daryl, that race, Daryl, it's 5 a.m. here on the Pacific Coast when that race is on. Daryl, let me just tell you, I'm fighting sleep, and I'm also fighting the racing sometimes Who's in the lead?
Well, the race puts you back to sleep. I mean, at least over here, it's the morning. So, and Miriam and I, the last few years, that has basically become our Sunday on Memorial Day, is we just get a bunch of food, plop in front of the couch, and let's go. I know we're going to try to do that again this year, but that first one is so hard to get through. Then you have the Indy 500, which the last decade or so has been an amazing race. And we've just had banger after banger after banger after banger after banger in the Indy 500. And then it takes about halfway through the Coke 600 to come down from that. And then you get settled into that race, which with the next gen car is a lot better. And the Coca-Cola 600 is either going to be really exciting or awful. There's no in between. But you can guarantee that very first race in Monaco, especially the most exciting thing for the Monaco Grand Prix this year, and we're on a tangent, but I have to get it out. The most exciting thing this year is whether or not the unions in France are going to actually shut the power off to Monaco. Because that is a rumor that's going around with all the political fighting that we do not have time to get into on this show. But that happening is the only exciting part about the Monaco Grand Prix. That's the only reason I'm going to watch.
No, I'm with you, Daryl. It's a boring race. It sucks. And look, I'm a diehard Formula One guy. Okay, just like you, I love racing from the bottom of my core, Daryl. But yeah, the Monaco is just. I will admit, because I love football very much. I will admit when there's a boring football game on. It is what it is, and it's the same thing with racing. I can admit when there's just racing on where I'm like, okay, I'd much rather go rearrange my sock drawer or something, you know. So, and Monaco is one of those. It is what it is.
But to get back to the topic at hand, we don't like Monaco, is what you can see here. But getting into, what happened with Miami, the two big things that have come out of it was the results, which were or the opening, which was not that great, and the fact that Nick DeVries might be in trouble here. There's a rumor going around that Daniel Ricciardo was getting a seat fitting earlier this year, or actually this week, and that he might be running out of time already to secure that seat. He was soundly beaten by his teammate Yuki Tsunoda on Sunday, who finished just outside the top 10. Just could not find enough to get around Kevin Magnussen to get one of those championship points. But DeVries is a rookie, but he has struggled during this season, and Red Bull, that team is very cutthroat between them and AlphaTauri. Larry, it really feels like, to bring it to a football situation, what we deal with the quarterbacks here in Washington, where the starter will play like a rookie for the rookies that we've had, and then people, 3 or 4 weeks in, start clamoring for the backup. But it's like, when is the rookie supposed to develop? Because we weren't going to the playoffs anyway. And in this case, AlphaTauri is not winning the championship. So are you going to let the kid develop? Because you were just going to yank him out the seat. What was the point of spending the money on him in the first place?
There was no point. I'm sorry, Daryl. I don't know what. Honestly, I'm sorry anybody out there who disagrees with that. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. How can you let anybody? I don't know. There was no point of even. You're absolutely right. No point of even getting this guy. I mean, it's AlphaTauri, man. This team is not a Red Bull. This team is not Ferrari. This team, you know what I mean? Like they're not in that constructor. So what are you doing? Like who's winning here, Daryl? You know what I mean? Like who's winning? I want to know who's winning this.
Man, I haven't seen this man in forever.
Hey, it's Michael. I was going to introduce him, but he spoke up anyway. Hi, Michael.
Hello.
He's actually able to.
What's up, Michael?
How's it going?
We're going good. You just joined us as we were talking about Nick DeVries possibly getting sacked halfway through his first year in Formula One. Actually, not even halfway. We're like a third through.
Yeah, it's crazy how I'm just hearing about that too. It's just apparently Ricardo went in for a seat test, And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this means Nick DeVries is getting out and everything like that." And I was like, "Man, he's really only had about 4 Grand Prix and about the 10th fastest car in the grid." And everybody's just like, "Yeah, this man's bad." And this is his first year in F1, by the way.
Yep. Also, Chris, who's listening, he just texted me. DeVries' biggest competition in F2 was Latifi, according to Miss Apex, and also Lance Stroll could cost Aston Martin P2 in the constructors if Merck develops. So that's actually a really good point as well, which we'll get to Stroll in a minute. But I really think you got to give DeVries the year to figure this thing out.
Yeah. I mean, you can't expect anybody to develop in four races. You know what I mean?
Especially 4 races in a car that's not great. And
like Yuki's only barely finishing in the points. Like, I think his last couple of races was 10th, 11th, 10th, 11th, 11th, 10th.
That is as good as that car is. And he's probably dragging it up there. That AlphaTauri has never looked particularly fast. So I just...
It's definitely not the 2021 AlphaTauri.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, the 2020 AlphaTauri.
Yeah, the car that was sneaky quick, but it's not sneaky quick anymore. They got it wrong on these regulations. You just got...
Makes me wonder, are they actually thinking about like getting rid of the AlphaTauri team?
That has been rumored that they're going to sell it. I don't know who. I don't know to who. The big thing against Nick DeVries, people are talking about, well, he's 28. They don't have that time to wait. What exactly is AlphaTauri trying to do? Like, they have been the developmental squad for Red Bull this entire time. Like, unless they're trying to reach the halcyon gates of 6th in the championship.
I don't think Red Bull like cares about AlphaTauri anymore since they have Verstappen.
Well, look at the team's results. It tells you they don't care.
Yeah, it's just like if they cared, like, I don't know, maybe Red Bull doesn't actually have like any hold on the AlphaTauri team, but it's just like if they did, then they've let that team like just fall apart.
Yeah. So, Michael, what did you think of the Miami Grand Prix? Because Larry and I were not fans.
I wasn't really a fan. I mean, obviously my driver was having a terrible weekend.
Yeah.
And to the point where Twitter is now telling everybody that Ferrari should just get rid of Leclerc. And I'll have my rant on that in a little while. But so Verstappen started 9th, and I was watching him make all the overtakes, and one thing really bothered me that I don't think, I don't know. I don't know if this is a driver thing or what. It looked like nobody attempted to fight him.
They couldn't because of the DRS advantage that car has.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have. So I'm like, you really have this guy just passing people without them really trying to do anything. Am I watching a Formula One race, or am I watching an LMP1 car pass an LMP2 car?
Yeah.
Because that's what him going through the pack just looked like to me. It just looked like, no fault to Verstappen. He's doing what he's getting paid to do, which is win the race. So it's not too much fault in him. But it's just like, I would have preferred to see somebody actually try to race him rather than just let him have the inside and then not even attempt to fight. It's just...
Well, the problem with how fast he's going, if they move over to try to block, it's going to be a crash. But like I've said, the only way they're going to fix this is something they don't want to do, which is they're going to have to go to an IndyCar style where they give them physically the wings and say, this is what you're allowed to use. They're never going to do that. So I really don't know what to say about Formula One because we've every time we shake up the rules, the same thing happens. One team, whether it be Mercedes or Red Bull or Ferrari that one time when I was in middle school, but they get a hold of these rules and they just get so far ahead of everybody else, especially now with the cost cap, you can't catch them.
Yeah, so what really do you do?
I don't know.
You know, I don't know.
Watch the WEC.
That's what I'll say, but it's just like if you want good racing, you got to go somewhere else. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you just want to oogle at F1 cars, then watch F1. But if you want like legitimate edge of your seat racing, watch the WEC, watch IMSA, watch IndyCar, watch NASCAR, watch GT3, watch Super GT, watch.
I need to find Super GT in English.
You don't like watching it in Japanese?
I don't know what they're saying.
It doesn't matter. They sound excited, and that's good enough.
I mean, they do, but I also like to know what's going on.
I don't have to hear somebody ramble on about nothing happening on the track for like an hour.
Well, wait till we get to Le Mans 24, the 2 a.m. Eurosport coverage, where everybody is sleep deprived, so they're just talking about whatever. It is awesome.
The best time. They're just rambling.
There needs
at one point.
There needs to be
somebody just started talking about what they had for breakfast that day.
They started talking about cake at some point. Last year.
Hilarious.
I missed that, and I'm sad I missed it. But at some point, Larry, during the Le Mans 24 broadcast, it's 2 a.m. France time. So the commentators are running on about 2 hours of sleep and about 5 Red Bulls. And they just started talking about cake because they needed to stay awake. And it was awesome.
Daryl, sometimes cake is the best part of the day. I'm just saying, that is amazing. Wow, that just goes to show you. I mean, stuff can get stale, but no, going back to what you guys are saying right now too. I mean, Verstappen out. This is getting kind of frustrating. It's really cool to see Perez win a couple races this year, but we already know what's going to happen. Verstappen's going to run away with it again. It's like, okay, I hate to say this, but it's like this is the equivalent. Stop me if I'm wrong, okay? But I just kind of feel like, in Daryl's famous words, "stick and ball sports." This is like steroids. This is exactly what it's like. You have a dude over here who's juicing, okay, and he's freaking, benching 700 pounds and squatting 1,500. Yeah, you better believe he's gonna freaking dominate the guy in front of him and go kill the quarterback, or run through the entire team and then run circles around him and then go back into the end zone. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like, are you serious? Can we all just be even on that field? I mean, I get it. I don't know. It's hard, but same as that time, it's like, well, there's going to be no surprises then. So great. We're not going to get great racing. Like Michael said, we can see the cars. Sweet. They're really fast. That's awesome. Don't expect to see.
If you want good racing, you're going to have to look at like the midfield to see like actual good racing.
Absolutely. And it's kind of funny, Daryl. It's kind of funny, Michael, you'd even say that, because I find myself just staring at the TV sometimes going, man, I hope that they pan in on the battle for 4th or 5th right now, because that is probably a really good, fun side-by-side race right there where they're going at it. Because, Verstappen is, 45 seconds ahead. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. So I don't know.
And it's just like,
it's
they
so
have like a 15-second. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
They have like a 15-second lead at the end of the race, and it's just like, well, what's the point of watching on Sunday? Like you're just watching. It's like the 2011 season all over again. You're just watching. But
it reminds me of when Mercedes was on top, and we were doing this show at the time.
Yeah.
And we would just come on and Lewis Hamilton won again. See y'all next week when he does the same thing. And we are Lewis Hamilton fans.
To talk about.
Yeah.
You have like other things about the race that happened, but it's just like, more of the story is Mercedes won again. Let's talk about what happened down in like 8th place.
Yeah, and that's great that we get to talk about that, but I wish we were talking about that and a good finish at the end because, and we'll move on from this. Everybody just wants to see the 2012 season again. 7 races in.
2012 and
2012 was the best one.
I'm not gonna lie. I would like to have a 2021 where 2 drivers are actually, racing hard for the championship again.
Yeah, but 2012 is even better. We had 4 teams legitimately in the fight: Ferrari, Red Bull, Renault, and Mercedes. You didn't know who was going to win the championship until the last day, and Vitaly Petrov ends up helping Max Verstappen to win the championship. No, wait, that's the wrong year.
I'm pretty sure that was 2010.
Yeah, that was 20. Petrov was 2010, but the 2012 season was still goated because you had 4 teams in the championship. 2010 was the Petrov year, which was
where Petrov basically won it for Vettel. That's not even lie.
That was hilarious.
Little did we know that one instance would set the stage for Formula One for years to come.
Yep, and that
Ferrari not being able to pass a Renault.
Yep, and that is the seasons that we want to get back to. Even though Red Bull ended up winning all those championships, there was only 1 year where Vettel kind of destroyed everybody.
2011 and I think 2013.
It was 2011 and really the end of 2013, but
where he pulled 9 wins in a row out of it.
Yeah, 2010, 2011, 2012, and most of 2013, incredibly competitive Formula One racing. We want to get back to that, but I don't know how we get back to that type of racing at this point.
I don't know either. It's just like, I know nobody wants to go back to spec racing, but it's just like, what else do we have, honestly? I know nobody wants to have a BOP.
I do.
You want a BOP?
If it's the only way we're going to get actual good racing again, I'm willing to do anything it takes at this point.
Man, I can't wait to start reading about the patch notes before the next F1 race, man. who got nerfed and who got buffed?
It is patch notes for racing. That's the messed up part.
Who got nerfed? Who got buffed?
I mean, honestly, you guys, I'll tell you right now, I found myself, I'm sorry, Daryl, I bring this up every single time I'm on air. I found myself recently watching the good old Force India battles.
Yes.
on YouTube, just because, well, at least that was fun to watch.
Those were awesome.
Is it sad that the only time Formula One was good was when Force India was called Force India?
Look, it was funny because the 2 teammates kept trying to kill each other. It was hilarious.
This was Ocon and Perez, right? Or was
yeah. They did.
I loved listening to their radios. It was so great. Yeah, guys. It was, but you know what? It's racing. Damn it, it's racing. And you know what? I'm all for racing. I love racing. That's it's embedded in my heart. I love racing. So
you know what's crazy though? When you go back to those days, especially like 2015 to like 2017, Ferrari looked competent those years.
They were competent those years. It was just
I don't know
the
what
ball
happened.
didn't bounce their way.
It's like I don't want to make it seem like some type of way, but it's like when Leclerc came, everything became bad.
There's too much pressure on him.
Just got worse.
I hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you look at like the highlights from races compared to now, everything at Ferrari got bad as soon as Leclerc came.
Yep. But there was also a huge changeover in the staff there as well. I don't want to put it all on him, but
yeah, I'm not putting it all on him, but it's like the staff changes. It's just weird how that happened.
Yep.
And it's like when you go back and you look at the highlights, it's like they weren't winning championships, but they were out there being competent.
So Formula One will return in a couple of weeks at Imola. Hopefully we'll get a decent race. That is where Mercedes is supposed to be basically bringing their B-spec car, and hopefully they'll be able to take
Does
the
it
fight.
have side pods?
We'll find out. I hope it does. But before we get into some actual good racing, do want to bring up that also next week we will have the NHRA back once again. They'll be in Joliet for the Route 66 Nationals. It's been a long time since we've had racing at Chicagoland. Route 66 Raceway was one of those tracks that was unfortunately closed due to COVID, but they were reopened. We're going to have NHRA racing back there again, and Larry, that's going to be a lot of fun. I like the design of those grandstands there with the little stadium style when they're curved the way they are. It makes a unique visual when you're watching on TV. Hopefully they're all full again, but either way, it's going to be nice to have some sort of racing at the Chicagoland complex once again.
It is. I'm so excited. You're absolutely right. I love that setup. It is so cool. And seriously, man, just knowing that the NHRA is going back there, thank you. Because you know what, man? COVID jacked us up. It sent us for a
really
loop.
Did.
You know, it really did. But it's just nice to see things that are reopening, that are gaining traction again. And it can still show you, hey, strong people, you know what I mean? We do it. And I love it. And I'm very, very, very excited for Route 66. I think that's going to be so much fun to watch. It has been a great season. There's been some weird things going on. But, you know, like with, I don't know, it's crazy seeing some different people earn Wallies. But I guess, hey, the changing of the tides, I am so excited for just lots and lots and lots of great racing continuing on in the NHRA this year. I feel like, honestly, Daryl, if I may, really, really, really fast, I kind of just feel like, I don't know, this NHRA season has a lot more fluctuation in it, even though we see some familiar faces out front. I don't know. I really like this season for some reason, just because, I mean, duh, it's one of my favorite sports, but at the same exact time, you know, we're not seeing Verstappen win every single race. You know what I mean? We're not getting that in the NHRA. So I love the variety, and it's just another opportunity for somebody to go out there and win this thing, and I'm really excited for that.
Yep. It's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to see how it rolls. And of course, you can watch that on Fox. Now, let's get in to this amazing race we had at Kansas in NASCAR. And we're going to start actually at the end, because it finally happened. Somebody went after Ross Chastain. He got into it with Noah. He got into it with Noah Gragson earlier in the race. Noah let him hear about it. Chastain actually was the one to throw the first punch. And I'm sorry, the security guy jumped in for Gragson to get his return shot. Y'all gotta let these drivers fight. Treat it like hockey. Once they hit the ground, then you break it up. But until then, let them go. Because that had been coming for a year and a half now.
Like I was saying, somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody was going to do it. I'm surprised it was Gregson, but...
Well, apparently Chase Elliott kind of pumped him up to go and do it. Because the thing is, everybody's getting tired of him. Yeah.
No, I agree, Daryl. And I mean, jumping really fast. The crazy thing is the last lap was incredible. Oh my gosh, what a finish of the race! But Daryl, that to me, the fight at the end was bigger because of those reasons that you're talking about right now. Yeah, somebody had to shut the mouth. I'm sorry. Let me not get canceled on my own station here, Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're absolutely right. Someone had to do it, and I oh my gosh, I'm just so happy you guys agree.
Adam Karnick just said all sports could use a few hockey fights.
Like, it's every time he does something or runs into somebody, he's always just like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have done that." You know.
That makes me the. Oh my god!
Then he proceeds the next race to hit somebody.
I can't
what
stand.
What did you think was gonna happen?
I cannot stand the fake apology anymore. I can't. Just, I'm sorry. I hate it for those guys. You know that they should have every right to be mad at me, dude. You do this every week. Care. Like, at this point, sorry stops being sorry. Stop doing it is my thing. Because if you don't mean it, you keep wrecking people's days for no reason. I'm waiting for somebody to do a Happy Harvick on him against Ricky Craven years ago when Harvick came off the top rope at Richmond.
Oh my God.
I'm dating myself like hell on that. That was in like 2002.
Okay. I remember that race too.
That was 2002, 2003.
To the 21.
Damn.
He hopped onto the 21.
Yep.
He just got insane.
There were a couple of incidents.
We were early teens.
Harvey was in the 29.
Yeah, we were.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
we're
that
dating
one
ourselves really bad here, by the way.
Yeah.
The body. Who was the body slam a couple of years ago? Onto the car.
I don't even remember that one.
The body slam?
You remember that where somebody got slammed onto a car after a fight? It was like one of the crew chiefs where they all went at it. The whole crews went at it. Oh my gosh!
I really want to say that was Kansas 2005. Casey Kane and Tony Stewart.
Yes, that was when the whole crews were fighting. No, that was Chicago. That was Chicago because Tony Stewart spun Casey Kane on the restart, and then all of a sudden they're just wrecking in the pit lane. It's like the crews going at it.
Guys, that was awesome.
We say all that to say NASCAR fights are awesome, and they need to be allowed to happen more.
There's a whole compilation on YouTube. Go and watch them.
Wasn't there, guys, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Gregson fight like 2 years ago?
Yes, Gregson got into a fight with somebody after a Xfinity race during the COVID years.
Let him go. Screw it. Yeah. Screw it. You know, you're absolutely right, Daryl. Let them circle around like in hockey, throw the gloves down, and hold each other up and go at it. Screw it. I'm with it. I'm totally with it.
I think my favorite was when Jeff Gordon was just like, I had enough, and he just goes after Jeff Burton.
That was weird. That fight was still weird because you weren't expecting it. Jeff kind of knew he was in the wrong, and all of a sudden Jeff Gordon is just throwing hands at him.
Yeah.
If I'm not
another
mistaken,
one that this wasn't really a fight. It was just like a pushing match, but it was like 2008, not 2008. It's got to be 7, and it was like Jeff Gordon gets out of the car. He's got his helmet on still. Walks up to Matt Kenseth, and he just starts pushing him.
Oh, that was 07. That was 07 at Bristol. Yeah.
Yeah, he just starts pushing him, and it's just like, bro, take the helmet off, man.
No, it's funny. Like, dude, I remember Jeff Gordon going after Robbie Gordon when he was in the singular car, if you guys remember that.
Who didn't have an issue with Robbie Gordon?
Robbie Gordon had an issue with everybody. I'm pretty sure Robbie Gordon had an issue with Robbie Gordon.
I think everyone at some point has had some run-in with Robbie Gordon.
This is a great show.
Yeah, and it's the same issue with Ross Chastain, where everybody's got an issue with him at this point. Honestly, I wasn't expecting him to be the one to fight him. Yeah, he's more Robbie Gordon than... I'm sorry, I have to talk about this. I love Dale Jr. I love Kyle Petty. We're not going to get into Kyle Petty right now. Ross Chastain is not the second coming of Dale freaking Earnhardt. Stop calling every idiot that runs into people because they ran out of talent Dale Earnhardt Sr. I am so tired of that. Every time we have these issues...
Dale Earnhardt Sr. wasn't just known for running into people. He was known for, winning championships.
Senior's got 7 championships. I don't think Chastain has a championship in the top 3 NASCAR series. So, he's not Dale. He's just driving over his head because it's for whatever reason.
I don't know, man.
That's ridiculous. To even make that comparison, to say that, just because he was the intimidator for a reason. Chastain's just a dude who likes to freaking wreck people and then do stupid crap and then give a fake apology.
Dale Dale is
So
known as the Intimidator for more than just wrecking people. It's like he raced you hard. He
yes,
wasn't gonna like roll over for you. He was gonna race you. Like
yes,
And the thing
he's not a
about
Formula One driver.
Dale was that people were actually scared of him. Nobody is scared of Ross Chastain. They're annoyed at Ross Chastain.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's a very big difference.
No, it's true. He's really frustrating, and honestly, man, I'm just happy you guys said that because I was thinking to myself like I don't want to be the only one who thinks that, but he's really annoying. I'm sorry.
It's funny because he's fast. Like he's actually a pretty fast driver. He just keeps hitting people.
Well,
that's the annoying part.
I look at it the same way I looked at John Morant when he was going through his nonsense. Stop doing stupid stuff and just focus on your craft. Like for him, it was shut up in ball or stop fighting people in ball. Now it's stop playing around with guns in ball, like the way that just devolved. But with Ross Chastain, it's stop trying to be the 3 and just drive.
Yeah.
If you drive like you, people will like you.
Yeah. You are not the Intimidator. You will never be the Intimidator.
That's the thing. Like, you can't be another person.
Yeah.
You really can't. You can only be yourself, and that's what you need to go into life, really.
Mm-hmm.
With the mindset of you. I'm a quote Sebastian Vettel a little bit. It's impossible to be the very best, but you can do your very best, and that's what he needs to do without hitting someone.
Exactly, and as Taryn says in the chat, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So at this point, my question is, who's going to be the next to fight Ross Chastain?
Can it be Hamlin?
I'm sorry, that was funny. No, I feel like there's a list. We can legitimately make a.
He owes a lot of people.
Hamlin so bad.
I wanted to be Hamlin because then he has to go on Actions Detrimental the next day and explain it.
Yeah.
Which I missed this week's episode.
And I feel like it's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time since he had Hamlin in a fight. But that was a really good race.
Yeah.
Like, we had the tire strategy. We had 3 and 4 wide on the restarts. Unfortunately, we had 11 cautions or 57 laps. But when you got a lot of cars side by side, that happens. But 37 lead changes, a Kansas record. This track, more than any, has been saved from the chopping block by the next-gen car. It ran really well there last year when we had the 2 races. It was incredible this year. And it really makes me want to see them go back to Chicagoland after the Chicago mayor runs them out of town after this race coming up. I really want them to go back to Chicagoland and give that race a second chance. Because I believe it would be a really good race with this car.
Yeah, I think it will really be a great race. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it. I would love it. You know, we need to stop this whole chopping block thing. You know, they complain so much about NASCAR dying and falling apart or whatever. Well, then stop jacking up. Stop. We get it. COVID, I get it. I totally understand that. But can we stop this? I mean, Daryl, I'm not going to, I promise you, this is 3 seconds, but way to ruin California. Okay, number one. Now you're going to over here talking about possibly Kansas. I mean, seriously? Like, I was told one time, actually, remember I was on Twitter, and one of the followers, I can say his name, he had a great argument about this, Daryl. We talked about this before when I was on here last time about Fontana, but he was like, short racing is better, it's not always the speed. And I'm like, well, then why do drivers go fast if it's not always about the speed?
Right.
And honestly, I just felt like you absolutely need certain fine-tuned cars and for certain areas, you know, for certain tracks. Why not? And bring racing to everybody. So, yeah, I hate that. So, Chicagoland, I hope, is a dwelling track after this. There, I seriously do. I want that track to stay. I
would love it to stay. Thankfully, there's no issues with that. speaking of California, Auto Club, another track that was resurrected by the next gen car and now inexplicably is gone. I don't know if we're going back there. I haven't heard anything about that new short track. Have y'all heard anything?
Nope.
No,
You live out there, Larry. Have you heard anything about them moving forward?
I've heard nothing, and I'm happy. Destroy the track. Go ahead, level it, crush all these diehard NASCAR fans' dreams that love going to that beautiful 2-mile track. Destroy it and just put a hotel there. Put something there.
Put a hotel there.
Yeah, because I'm just sick of. You know what? No, and I haven't heard anything, Daryl. I haven't heard groundbreaking. I haven't heard anything about. Like I said, we're what 35 miles away from that track. I mean, are you serious? They've done nothing with it, and we're a couple of months out. Daryl, I have heard nothing whatsoever. And honestly, I think it's going to stay that way. I think either or they're just going to let that thing grow with the weeds. Like what's that North Carolina track? I don't know.
North Wilkesboro, even though they've rebuilt it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to it, but honestly, man, it's just, I think that's it. I think that was the last race. It's over, and you just destroyed something beautiful. Thank you very much, owners of that property, for destroying that track. Now, please let that disgusting piece of NASCAR history, let everybody else learn from that and not let that happen to anywhere else. And I'm just very, very upset that had to happen right here, not too far from my home.
Yep. It stinks. We will, hopefully we won't have to deal with, hopefully we'll be back there as a 2-mile, or we won't go back there at all. I just don't really want to go there if it's going to be a short track with the amazing races we had. So, oh well, we'll see what happens. But no, Kansas was incredible. We go to Darlington this week. Always a tough track. Going to be a lot of fun. But we are also doing actually, before we go to Darlington, was also a great rebound for 23-11. Bubba and Tyler being 4th and 9th. But Denny getting the win over Kyle Larson with a little bit of a bump and run there on the backstretch. What did you guys think of the move?
I thought it was a good move. I just thought, Kyle, we just got, I'm not going to say unlucky, but it's just something that happens when you race that close, It's kind of like restrictor plate racing where you swipe once, that's fine. Swipe another time, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl. I mean, seeing Denny he gets past him. That's it. The 5 gets into the wall, kind of, and kind of just, I don't really know what happened. I mean, of course, I don't know. It's weird. I know he clipped him just slightly, ever so slightly. At that speed, anything can happen with a single little clip. I totally get it. But hey, it is what it is. Bumpin's racing. I don't want to say it was dirty because I don't really feel it was. But
it didn't look dirty to me. It just looked like you just made a mistake,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It didn't look dirty to me either. It looked like Larson bounced off the wall, hit the wall, came back down. Hamlin just stayed in it, got a little bit of a nudge, and away he went.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. You know what? Look, to me, that's a race, okay? They're fighting to the very end, okay? I'd rather watch that than Formula One. I'm sorry. Did I say that again? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go backwards. But I'm just saying.
No. Say it again.
Michael's like, give me to say that one more time for us.
Just one more time for the people in the back.
Yeah, Bumpin's racing, guys. Am I right? I mean, gosh dang it. You fight this. If you want the Intimidator, okay, not this fake crap we're getting, with Mr. Wannabe Intimidator. This is racing, okay? I had to bring it up on YouTube again just to watch it right now because I just got so excited. I want to see it one more time. And yeah, I mean, look at this, man. Coming off that turn, okay, it is what it is. Okay, and then you have right off the turn. Okay, Larson goes to throw a block. What are you gonna do? As a football player, you know what you do to a block? You destroy it. Okay, that's all there is to it. So Denny Hamlin did the best he could. You can tell he tried not to wreck him. Tries to get to the bottom, and guess what? Larson just wanted to go with him. Therefore, Larson paid the price. Denny Hamlin's car was faster. Therefore, it is what it is. Things happen, and there goes Hamlin flush in front. I loved it. I thought that was a great race. Great way to end it, and Hamlin earned himself a really good victory.
Yep. So we'll see how they do in Darlington, which is going to be fun for some folks. This is always a track where it is tough place to pass just because you run up against the wall, but it's also tough to keep the right side of that car undamaged. And of course, we have a lot of pretty schemes for the throwback weekend. But to be honest, what do you guys think of the throwback weekend thing at this point? Has it run its course? Because for me, all the good schemes have already been done, so it's just kind of now for me.
Yeah, it's just kind of. I think if you're about to retire, like Harvick is, you run, a throwback scheme. But I think it's run its course. But I do think it's cool. Or you know what they could do? They could introduce like concept liveries there.
Mm-hmm.
No, you guys hit it on the head. You hit it on the head, both of you. And how funny is that? I was just thinking about that crap like maybe 3 days ago, because it's true. The throwbacks are fun. Okay, they're cool, but you're absolutely right. You can only do it so many times, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's a cool scheme. Darlington is an awesome race, as we always say. It's the track where you got to race not only the opponents, but you're also racing against the track. You know what I mean? It's its own beast. You got to tame. It's awesome, but at the end of the day, you need to kind of stop it. It's, I don't know. It's kind of like you said, it's ran its course, and I like the idea, but you're right. If we're gonna do the throwback thing, recent, and it is what it is. After that, I just kind of don't. I'm kind of not with the throwbacks no more. It's kind of like, okay, that's cool, but sometimes I like low key forget about it. I can see the cars on the track, but realistically, I'm watching the race because I love the race. The throwbacks are like, okay, that's cool. Now let's get to the racing.
If you want like a throwback event, have like a track day where it's just like a bunch of older stock cars running, and have them run on the track.
The one thing I'm excited though for this throwback day is they found Carl Edwards somehow.
They found Carl Edwards.
And he's going to be a part of the broadcast on stage 2. My question is, where has he been? He has not been seen. He has not been heard from since he lost the championship and suddenly retired. Like, how did they find him?
They found Carlington? Carlington? Yep. Are you...
They found Carl Edwards. He's no longer a hermit anymore. He's been found.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think he was like, the worst or anything. I just thought he was like, peace out. I'm not doing this ever again. I don't know. Like, that was just really weird. So, okay, cool. That's kind of
It's literally Return of the Jedi.
Yep. And coming up, IndyCar also back in action, the GMR Grand Prix, which will be in Indy. Going to Indianapolis. A lot of fun, of course, in Indy, but we all know why we're in Indy. It's the month of May. We all know what we're waiting for. And I just kind of look past this race to get to the Indy 500, but this officially starts the month of May racing in Indianapolis, the GMR Grand Prix. We are back home in Indiana.
Yep, and I can't wait. Indy 500's coming in. The trifecta's coming up, too.
Just a couple of weeks. Cannot wait. I'm so glad that I get the that Monday off.
Everybody's excited except for do we all want to see Monaco?
I was just going to say that. We all get to the awesome trifecta, and it all starts off, you guys, with the most fascinating, most funnest race ever, the Monaco Grand Prix, to kick off the day.
Oh, man, let me tell you, edge of your seat action.
Daryl, last year, I almost flipped over, man. It was crazy. That last lap, intense. I don't think I've ever seen anything more intense than the last lap at Monaco.
You can't see me rolling my eyes, but I am.
Man, Ferrari totally lost that race on merit and not strategy. I'm still not. I'm not angry at all. By the way, still not clenching my fist right now.
That Monaco Grand Prix every year is better than the last 10 years of the Rolex 24 combined. I'm just
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
let's go ahead and all right. Let's go ahead and pick
stop
nearest
you
the
right
win
there.
now.
I had to. I'm sorry.
So we'll update you on the points. We still got some stuff that needs to be updated on the points, but Taryn does have the points lead still. So that goes into this week. We've got Darlington this week, and we've got the Indy Road Course. I am going to take Kyle Larson on a little bit of a revenge tour here. And for IndyCar, I am going to take... I do not know who I'm going to take, actually. You know what? I know who I'm going to take. I'm going to take Scott Dixon. I think IndyCar is where I'm doing the best so far. So, Michael, Larry, who you got?
For IndyCar, right?
Also, Michael, your barber doesn't count because you went Pelot twice.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I hate this game of emotions we play.
We'll fix that later.
I guess I will go Award, I guess.
Okay. And who you got for NASCAR?
NASCAR, I will go with.
Just the regular.
Go with. I want to go with some. Go ahead.
Oh, you picked Bell last week, and unfortunately, he ended up getting crashed out.
Yeah. Well, Christopher Bell. Right, Darlington. I'm kind of. I don't know why, but I'm actually feeling Chastain for some reason. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Logano.
Okay.
Good choice. Good choice. For IndyCar, it's a tough one for me. I kind of felt like, I don't know, Alex Palou maybe. I mean, I like him or Newgarden for me. I don't know why.
I really like Palou.
Yeah, that
really
guy.
Good.
He's awesome. And I mean, you know, I definitely got to go with him. And then for Darlington, it's a weirdo. That's a weird. Of course, I'll be pulling for William Byron, even though he wins every blue moon that comes out. I don't know. But I will go this week for sure, with a guy that I just feel like has a good chance of this thing. I'm gonna go with Martin Truex.
Alrighty. Truex broke his winning streak
really
recently.
love to play Palou in the IndyCar game, but
Oh, we don't have enough time to get into that. I typed Darlington.
Carlington. It's Carlington.
Carlington.
But yep. So we'll get all the picks in there, and good luck to everybody's picks. But another great show, Larry. Thank you so much for joining us this week. This was a lot of fun. We'll have to do this. Definitely have to do this again sometime. But this was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, brother. This is always a blast being on here. I love it. It's always fun talking racing with you, man. It's always great. Michael, it is great to hear from you, buddy. Man, I know
Always.
It's been... Absolutely, brother. It's been, everything gets so chaotic, and I totally get that with me and my craziness going on right now, too. So, man, we have missed you on the show. But, dude, just know that we are so excited to have you back this week. And whenever we get you on here, man, it's always fun and always great hearing you talking the thing you're most passionate about, racing. And sorry we missed it this week, Chris, but, hey, we'll get you back next week, man. So it's been a blast. Thanks for having me tonight, Daryl.
Of course. And Larry, where can they find you on Twitter?
Thank you, sir. You can find me, of course, at at the THEE_LB53. Make sure to check me out there. Follow us all as a whole, IE Sports Radio, all over social media. Show us some love, and definitely follow this show right here at The Extra Mile, because I love this show. This Twitter is amazing. They do some amazing things here. So I just got to say, I'm sorry, Daryl, to steal your plugs. I'm just saying, allow me to do the honors, because you guys are amazing. Awesome show every single week. If you guys really love your auto sports, this is your first time ever hearing this podcast ever, you might want to stick around, because these guys are absolutely incredible, and nobody talks auto sports the way that they do.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Michael is at Michael_War25. Of course, I'm at DK Jr. 12. Make sure you keep it locked to all our social media pages. Of course, Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok. And, of course, iSportsRadio.com. And if you missed this episode or any other episode of iSports Radio shows, check out the YouTube repository. Every show from every year of iSports Radio right there at your fingertips. But it's time to get on out of here for the extra mile. For Larry and Michael, I'm Daryl. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you at the next green flag. Good night, everybody.